Welcome to This Explainer. Honestly, I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you work in agricultural extension, or if you're out there facilitating adult learning in rural communities, well, you already know that teaching technical farming skills is really only half the battle. Today, we're going to master the hidden engine of farmer field school success. Imagine we're sketching this out on a big whiteboard right now. We are talking about group dynamics. It's this incredible, invisible force that can literally propel your farmers to massive harvests, or, on the flip side, cause your entire program to just fall apart. We're going to tackle this with a really clear adult learning focus, breaking down the exact, field-tested strategies you need to build highly functional, completely unstoppable farmer groups.
Okay, let's dive into the structured roadmap we'll use to build highly effective farmer groups today. First up, we'll look at the invisible force. Second, why dynamics matter. Third, facilitation do's and don'ts. Fourth, fixing common mistakes. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the FFS golden rule.
All right, Section 1, the invisible force, understanding group dynamics. So what actually happens behind the scenes when you put a group of, say, 25 adult farmers together in a field?
Well, think of group dynamics as essentially the personality of your group. It's that invisible force influencing absolutely everything as a living, breathing system. It dictates who speaks up, who sits quietly in the back, how decisions are actually made, and how conflicts are managed when things get tense. In a farmer field school or FFS, these dynamics represent this really complex web of relationships between the farmers themselves, between them and you as the facilitator, and with the learning process itself. It's all about participation levels, trust, cooperation, and motivation. You see, you aren't just teaching agriculture here, you're guiding a complex social system. Let's look at how this builds into a really critical realization.
Listen to this. Group dynamics is the personality of your FFS group. You can have 25 good farmers, but if their dynamics are poor, learning will fail. That is such a powerful statement. Think about it. You could bring the absolute best drought-resistant seeds, the most advanced pest management techniques, the most brilliant curriculum in the world. But if the group can't cooperate, if there's this underlying envy, or if nobody feels psychologically safe enough to admit they made a mistake, all that technical knowledge is totally useless. The learning simply isn't going to happen.
Moving right along to Section 2, why group dynamics matter. What are the actual stakes here?
We absolutely cannot just skip straight to teaching agricultural techniques. The stakes are way too high. First off, focusing on dynamics builds trust and psychological safety. Think about farmers who might have been cheated by fake seed sellers in the past, or maybe burned by informal loans. They need to trust each other before they're going to try a new, risky practice. Second, it encourages equal participation. In many Malawian villages, for instance, chiefs or wealthy big men naturally tend to dominate the conversations. Well-structured dynamics activities give a real voice to marginalized members, like women, youth, and poorer farmers. It also drastically improves collective decision-making, shifting the group from simple majority rule to true, genuine consensus. Plus, it surfaces those small little tensions before they explode into massive conflicts over jealousy or resources. And finally, it creates fun. Look, farmers face drought, hunger, and incredibly hard labor. If your FFS feels like just another grueling chore, they're going to drop out, for sure.
Now, what's really interesting about this is a super simple equation. Movement plus emotion equals retention. When you facilitate a quick 5-minute activity, let's say a clapping game that mimics the life cycle of a local pest, the farmers are laughing, they're moving around, their energy is totally up. And because they are experiencing positive emotion while physically moving their bodies, they're going to remember that technical content about that pest much, much longer. It cements memory and learning in a way a standard lecture never, ever could.
Section 3, facilitation do's and don'ts. Let's open up our practical field guide. So how do we actually pull this off in the dirt and the dust? Here's your toolkit. Do use the local language. If you're in Malawi, that means using Chichewa or Tumbuka and calling activities Masewero Opunzitsira, learning games. Ditch the academic English jargon. Do intentionally mix ages and genders to break down those rigid village hierarchies. And hey, make sure you jump in and participate too. Don't just stand off to the side like some untouchable expert. But on the flip side, absolutely don't force physical touch. Culturally, this can be a total disaster. In some conservative Muslim areas of southern Malawi, mixed-gender physical contact is highly problematic. Just use alternatives, like naming games instead. Also, don't use competitive scoring. Pitting one farmer's plot against another's just destroys the unity of the group. Focus on cooperation-based challenges. And whatever you do, never criticize a slow learner. If a village chief messes up a clap pattern and you call him out, he loses face and might pull his support for the whole program. Laugh with them, guys, never at them.
All right, Section 4, fixing common mistakes.
Because let's be real, things won't always go perfectly in the field. You're working with complex human systems, so you need to be ready to troubleshoot. Mistake number 1, farmers cross their arms and say, look, we don't have time for games, we're here to learn farming. Your solution? Calmly reframe it. Say something like, a 5-minute game right now saves us 30 minutes of arguing later. This is how we learn to agree faster. What if one particular farmer is totally dominating the discussion? A pro facilitator steps right in and says, thank you so much for that insight. Now let's hear from 3 people who haven't spoken yet today. What if they tell you, come on, this is for children? You just acknowledge it. You say, yes, children play, but wise adults play to learn. Watch this. And then you hit them with a really complex problem-solving activity like a calendar race. I guarantee they'll immediately engage. Having these structured, calm responses in your back pocket will absolutely save you from losing control of your session.
Finally, Section 5, the FFS Golden Rule. This is it, your ultimate takeaway.
So the crucial point is this formula right here. If you remember literally only one thing before running an activity, let it be this 3-step golden rule. Step 1, debrief every single activity. The fun is fantastic, but it's not the point. The learning is the point. Ask the group, what did we just learn about working together? Step 2, link it directly to farming. If you just did an activity where everyone had to untangle their hands, ask them, okay, just like we untangled our hands, how do we solve a complex dispute over grazing cattle? If you skip this debrief, the farmers will just think you're wasting their time. And step 3, keep it under 15 minutes. Any longer than that, and you're just draining the energy they need for the core agricultural topics and field observations. Debrief, link to farming, keep it short. That is your undeniable formula for success.